our money, where'd it go, who got it, who done it, who I want it back. I wanted to do more for me. I want to put it to work. And it's ironic. Today I want to talk about the foundation. So as we go through this series of conversation, we're always in that process of thinking through what we can do to help people get free financially. Yes.
Yes.
And I had an epiphany. Anybody, epiphany is the big word for aha. I had one of those aha moments this morning as I was just going through getting preparation for my day. Like, anybody ever wake up and you're just not moving at the speed that you feel like you want to move?
Exactly.
And so I think about the obstacles that we have. When we talk to people about cash flow, getting their money back from the people that took it so that it can do more work for them, I always talk about the 4 big financial roadblocks in terms of taxes, inflation, debt, and big business. But you know what I figured out, Jeanette? You know something is even bigger obstacle to people's financial success than these big 4?
What's that? Yes.
It's what's in our mind, it's what's put into our mind. It's a thing I call stinking thinking. Anybody ever heard of stinking thinking? Just
that's stinking thinking.
You know, like I mean, real talk. Like, broke is a temporary situation, but poor is a mindset. And when we talk about this whole process of things, I looked at our essential steps in getting your house in order, and that was a compare and contrast. And I want you to look at and think about the words that people use to decide for yourself, would you rather be rich or poor? Because they say rich people play the money game to win, but poor people play the money game not to lose. How many of you would rather be rich than poor? They say that rich people think big, poor people think small. Rich people focus on opportunities, poor people focus on obstacles. How many of you know that you know somebody that as soon as you have a great idea, they know everything that's wrong, but can't focus on the thing that's right?
They shoot it down, yes.
And here it is. Rich people associate with positive, successful people. Poor people associate with negative, unsuccessful people. Rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. Poor people think negatively about selling, promotion of any kind. But here, it's ironic though, right? If you got something that's good for somebody, wouldn't you tell them?
Yes.
Rich people are excellent receivers. I receive things. Everybody, this gesture right here is receiving. Everybody just receive the good things that are coming. Any money out there that people are not willing to receive, I'm a money magnet. It can come directly to me. But at the same time, rich people think both versus either or. Rich people manage their money well, meaning they're in control of their money, versus poor people mismanaging their money well. Rich people act in spite of fear. Like, I do understand that it's natural to feel fear, but it's courage to act in spite of it. But poor people let fear stop them. And last, rich people constantly learn and grow, and poor people already think they know everything they need to know. If it coming from in the chat, just put it down there in the mindset. If you're in here in the Zoom with us, put in the chat. Is your mindset a rich mindset or is it a poor mindset? And if you're looking at us on Facebook, chime in along, join in just the conversation so I know who you are right now. But the other thing is just understanding that even if we have a rich mindset, our mindset is constantly under it. Put that in, because if you think about when we do our foundation steps for getting your financial house in order, I want you to see, this is familiar for those of you that have worked with us in our community, our financial education series for a while. We say, start with a foundation, build a budget, have a mini emergency fund of at least $1,000 to $3,000, get out of debt, build a true emergency fund, invest for long-term, knowing the income is the outcome, build wealth and give. Everybody's seen this chart from us that's been in the curriculum, yes?
Yes.
But I want you to think about the difference between us as human beings and a house is for a house, you only have to build a foundation one time, hopefully. If you get some foundation issues, that house is coming down, yes?
Yes.
But as individuals, what I find is we've always got to be building on, growing, and upgrading our foundation. Put that in your notes. All the steps above are easy if you get the foundation right. But here's a challenge. Too often people haven't thought about how these things tie to one another. Like if you think about mindset, and specifically mindset not as a noun, but a noun and a verb, meaning we have to set our minds intentionally because the default setting will subtract from us. But if we think about mindset, education, game plan, and a team, and how they all build on one another, and that we're always in the process of growing our mindset, growing our education, improving our game plan, and upgrading our team, that's how we win. So let me point out. So let's start talking about mindset, because this is the most important thing. If you think about it, the most powerful supercomputer in the history of the world was given to you as a birthright. I mean, we were actually designed for success from birth. But if you think about the human mind today, we're bombarded with input, yes?
Yes.
Like I recognized the other day that some people, the last book they read was Facebook. But between, the constant assault from constantly negative news, from the rumor mongers, from the time wasters, from everything out there, it's easy to get pushed into a negative mindset. And therefore, we have to take this supercomputer. Everybody point to your computer, tap your computer right there. You got to constantly reprogram the computer. And it turns out my background, but those of you know me, my major in college was computer science. I studied programming computers. And the way that you get something out of a computer is based on what you put in. Well, that's true for us too. If we put garbage in, what are we going to get out?
Garbage out.
Garbage. And it turns out that for a computer, you put in input with the keyboard or the mouse. But for us, our input is our eyes and our ears. It's what we see, what we hear, and most importantly, what we say.
Wow.
Think about this. What you say, think about this in your life and ask yourself if it's true. What you say is what you get.
True.
Yes.
And so knowing that it's that important, knowing that, especially for us, right? Because you got to think about it. Your voice is the easiest one for you to hear because it gets conducted through your bones. And the things that you say to yourself, along with things that people say to you, constitute the majority of the program that we get. So think about this. The best thing that we can do for ourselves is put an intentional gate on our mouths. Watch your mouth. It says in Proverbs 18:21. Who knows what that book of the Bible says? Or who has a speedy, quick reference?
Life and death lie in the power of the tongue.
Life and death, Jeanette, life and death lie in the power of the tongue. What you say, and here's one thing that we can do to intentionally program ourselves for success. Two things that I suggest for everybody that wants to be on the path to success. Conscious affirmations and unconscious ones. Affirmations are I am statements that you say to yourself about yourself before somebody else comes up and says something crazy to you. And I say affirmations all day, but I start my day with a set of affirmations. So even if I wake up with stinking thinking, by the time I've come out of my quiet time with Richard, I'm on.
Yes, yes.
And when it comes to money, we got to be especially careful about the things we say or that we allow people to speak into our lives. So suggestion number one, programming your mindset, setting your mind for money. Affirm every day. I'm a money magnet. Money comes to me from the north, south, east, and west easily, daily, from a variety of sources, known and unknown. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, I do this.
All right. Known and unknown.
But now here's the second thing that I suggest is alter your greeting because it alters your frequency. You got to think about your mind as a supercomputer. Anything you say with the words I, your body, they call it the reticular activating system. I know, Richard's saying big words again, reticular activating system. What it means is you start setting your life to see the things that you said. Have you ever noticed that? Like, if you start, especially if you buy a new car, this is the easiest place to see it. Once you get that car, you start seeing that car on the road all the time.
Everywhere, yes.
Well, if we know that our mind starts to focus on the things that we speak, think about what would be different for your life and the people you meet along the streets each day is when they greet you, you're the uncommon denominator. Meaning somebody says to you, hey, how you doing? Man, I'm fantastic. I love calling, anybody ever call, sometimes I call Anthony Clements just to ask him how he's doing.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, that's all I needed. I'll talk to you later. But you call Anthony Clements, he'll say, man, I'm too equipped to be whipped. I'm profusely overflowing in the favor of the Holy Ghost. I mean, he will get church going right when you greet it.
Yes.
But here's the power in that process is that even if you're having a difficult day, I want you to write this down. I'm getting better all the time. But what happens if we do the reverse? Think about some of the people you see. You can already tell what kind of day they're having because it's written all over their faces, right up in here, right? They all scrunched up in the eyebrows. And when you ask people, what's up? Nothing. What you doing? Straight on struggling. Same, boop, different toilet, Imagine what would happen to you and to them if when somebody said, what's up? You said my cash flow, my credit score, my investment income, all of those things are up and that starts to produce different results in you, but then they also are curious about what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And then when on that last category, and I'll rush through these things because I do want to make room for the other things, we got to get out of the habit of using weak words. What are weak words? Try, but, and can't. Try it, and I'm from the South, so I already know try is a word that people use to let themselves out of doing what they say they're gonna do. Richard, I'm gonna try to make it. How you gonna try to make it to Zoom? You gonna almost click the button, like you gonna do it or you're not gonna do it, yes?
Yes.
And then can't. Can't is one of the most deceptive words there is because it means one of two things. You either don't know how to or you don't want to. If you don't know how to, you can learn. And if you don't want to, you can release that thing, but you remove the power of something to be an impossibility for you. Does that make sense? And then, but turns out the people that overuse the word but usually have a pretty big one. But negates everything that came before it. Meaning, man, I want to create financial success, but whatever you say after that says that the first part wasn't true. I want to listen and learn, but no, you don't. Because how many of you know, like that adults will find a way to do what they want to do?
Absolutely.
So both be careful when people use weak words with you, but specifically for cultivating our mindset, let's get those out of our words. And then two things I'll put together, negativity and overgeneralizing. What's negativity? How many of you know somebody that can find a negative in every situation, every word they utter? Meaning they're so negative that if you put them in a dark room, they'll develop. People with digital camera era, they don't get that one, Jeanette. Think about that process between negativity and overgeneralizing. What is overgeneralizing? Mean nobody wants to look at this, or everybody's gonna be struggling, gonna work, and that's how everything goes. It's not true. But here's what is true. The majority of people are in one category or another, but that's why the statistics when it comes to wealth and retirement are what they are. What does that say? 92% of people in America end up dependent on family, friends, and the federal government for their financial sustenance. So we're going to be different than a lot of people. Is that good? Now, here's what happens. The other thing that we can do to upgrade our input beyond what we see is what we put in our minds. I endorse a financial education curriculum because this is how I expand my team. I mean, think about it. Between Dave Ramsey and George Classen, every day I get some information that helps me know more about money, how to use it as a tool, and how to be successful with it. Now, the blessing that we have is in addition to traditional books like Think and Grow Rich. How about that as a title? How many of you have read the book Think and Grow Rich?
Yes.
I mean, that's the ultimate test that
right now.
their mindset is real. Think and grow rich. You got to think and grow. That's how you get rich. As a matter of fact, that's my own personal book. It's written for me personally, meaning Think and Grow Richer. That's the actual name of it.
All right.
But Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, by the way, if you're looking for a book with good affirmations and things to talk to yourself about when it comes to your money blueprint, T. Harv Eker did his thing with Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Now, I don't make any money when I recommend his book, but I make money every time I listen to it.
All right. Wow.
And then with our partnership, we do ongoing financial education at least once or twice a week to make sure that people can continue to process. Because put this in your notes. You're either learning or you're starting to lose. I try to learn something new every day because we've got to be continuing to build on our foundation. And then the next part is the plan. Now, Benjamin Franklin is famous for this quote. Do you see what it says right there, Jeanette?
Yes, sir.
Read it for me while I drink this tea. Hang on.
If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail.
Come on now. I mean, and it's not just a clever saying that was true in Benjamin Franklin's day that resulted in him being the big face on the $100 bill. It's still true today because here's the reality. If you don't have a plan for your money, someone else does.
Yes.
And guess what they have planned for you? Nothing much. They're playing. I mean, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying me. I mean, even though I knew I wanted to be financially free. How many of you have that as a goal? You want to be wealthy, you want to do something generational, you want to leave a legacy so that there's more than just your name that you're leaving to that next generation.
Yes.
But even knowing that was my goal, I had a vague plan, but one of my mentors said, a plan, a goal without a date is nothing but a wish. It wasn't until I found this partnership with our team that I actually had a plan that went against my creditors' plan. Meaning, y'all, does everybody know that our creditors have a plan for us?
Oh, yeah.
Their plan is to be our creditor. That's why that's their name. They want us to work forever, pay bills to them and die, where our debt payments are their passive income. Now, working on my plan with my team, I was able to get a wide open look at my creditors' plan for me. You see right here that it had me paying off the debts that we have for 24 more years. Now, whatever age you are, if you add 24 to it, how many of you are looking forward to still being paying those bills? And then we would have paid close to $500,000 in interest. My team, with our debt elimination system, looked at what I was doing. They took the same money. Check this out now, Jeanette. The same money I'm paying, structured it through a process called the debt snowball, which we'll talk about not next week, but the week after, so that we can speed up the process of getting out of debt. And long story short, it saved me close to 17 years in payments and $276,000 in interest.
Wow.
And then the best part of them having help with the plan was then they started planning, once you dig yourself out of this hole of debt, take that same money, in a month, you'll have $50,000 in the bank. In 2 years, you'll have $100,000 in the bank. 12 years later, debt-free millionaire, or at least an additional million. How's that?
Wow.
Now,
Great.
now that brings to mind the next most important step when it comes to foundation is your team. See, here's the other thing. We've already talked about the things that influence our mindset. We talk about what we see, right?
Yep.
We talked about what we say, and we talked about what we read. But the people around you, put this in your notes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose wisely. That's what Jim Rohn said. Now, I netted that out to say, if you hang around 5 broke, negative people, guess who number 6 is?
You are.
But if you purposely, selfishly choose to cultivate relationships with people that are positive, successful, that have the millionaire mindset, guess who's next?
Me.
A part of our community is building that overall idea of a team. Now, when it comes to a team, in my opinion, you need 2 things on your team. You need experts that specialize in the things that you don't know. See, life is too short for us to learn everything that we're going to ever need to know when it comes to money. But what I find is that wealthy people have experts that do things for them. I mean, think about this. Did y'all hear the noise in the background a few minutes ago? That was my yard guy. Every time I get on Zoom, he come blowing the driveway. He ain't been here all week, but now, oh, Richard's on Zoom. Now I will pop up. But you know, you think about it, people have yard experts, they got people to work on their cars. Ladies, we got the hairdressers and the nail technicians, right? But it's funny how we'll get experts to work on trivial things, but not get experts to work on the thing that's paying for those things. I mean, think about it. You got a mechanic, a doctor, a surgeon, but if you got a money question, ask a cousin. What do they know? Unless that's what they do. But the second thing you need, in my opinion, is a community. It's people who are just like you, wanting to do something different that can grow with you because they're going through the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Meaning, just think about it. If you try to do a workout at home by yourself, do your workouts at home by yourself take twice as long as the workouts at the gym where everybody in the gym is working out?
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I tried to convince myself to get in shape to run a 5K with just me and my dog. We are good at walking fast. But you get there to everybody got on a name badge, now running 5K seems like the normal thing to do. Well, it's the same thing with our community, where imagine what it would be like if you had people all around you that were focusing their time and energy on improving their credit, on getting out of debt, on generating wealth and earning money in a non-traditional way. It makes life and the load easier, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, this is who recognizes this shot? Y'all remember these people? I just tried to bring, that's a USA Dream Team right there. That is the most dominant team in the history of the sport of basketball. And watching our USA basketball team these days, I just wish that we could still have Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen on the same team, coached by Coach K. Lenny Wilkins and Chuck Daly. They were beating people like about 50 points. This year, I think the US team has already lost twice. Dream team, build your dream. Ask yourself, what does your dream team look like? Because you got to think about it. You got coach, you got specialists, and you got key players, and you're the star in your starting lineup. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's my quick recap for our money lunch today. Let's make sure that we are on time. We are right on the edge of time here. But the most important thing that you can have when it comes to creating financial success is a strong foundation that you're building on at all times. Grow your mindset, your education, your game plan, and your team. And join forces with a team like this one. Like, one of the most exciting things about having the opportunity to spend time with people like Stephanie Stewart and Morgan Cleveland is their ongoing focus in growing their mindset, their education, their game plan, and the team. Put yourself in a position to win. And as we go through our series, just remember that this is only the foundation, but we work on the foundation in this house every day because our goal is to give you the wealth that you have so that you can give how you live. With that being said, that's my time for Money Lunch on Friday. I want to thank each and every one of you. Hopefully, you got some great information here. And specifically, I invite you to join our cash flow conversation. Over the course of the next 48 hours, our movement is doing some phenomenal things to help people get all the things that they need from a foundation point of view so that they can get to the other side of money. What's the other side of money? Is where the lack thereof is no longer the predominant conversation. So with that being said, happy Friday, everybody. I will see some of you later on. Make sure to reach out to the person who's live you're watching, or if I invited you, so that you can catch on to the cash flow conversation and we keep learning in this cash flow conversation. It turns out that not everything we learned that we needed to know about money were we taught in school, but we are making up the learning gap right here, right now. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Uh-oh. There we go.